there have been some modifications and changes here. So our first speaker, as the adage goes, charity begins at home. He is a finance and investment consultant and a member of parliament for Nhyiaeso constituency in the Ashanti region. He's also a member of the African Parliamentary Union and a member of the Finance Privileges and Equity Tender Committees in Parliament. A non-executive director on the GCV board, as well as a member of the Risk and Audit Committees. He is the CEO of Zintex Portfolio Services Limited and Zintex Pharmaceutical Services Limited. Formerly, he was the CEO of Microfinance and Small Loan Center and a Deputy National Coordinator of the National Health Insurance Authority. Besides, he was a Chief Finance Officer of Kent City Group and Media. He holds PhD in Actuarial Science with options in Finance and Investment from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana. MSc in Strategic Financial Management, University of Derby, UK. Postgraduate Certificate in Entrepreneurship, MIT, USA. And BSc Computer Science from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Now, his strengths include finance, mergers and acquisitions, strategic management, microeconomics, risk management, budget management, and entrepreneurship. He has participated in a number of international programs in America, in Europe, and several countries in Africa. He is my member of Parliament. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we welcome Honorable Dr. Stephen Amoah.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Just before I even address the chair and the dignitaries in front here, there is an important thing that I have to do. And that is, I cherish everyone here, and everyone has been accorded the needed remarkable reception. However, I would like to let you understand the fact that my great good people from Nhyiaeso constituency, I had to leave that so that I do that myself. I have my executives, my chairman, which was the only one, my deputy human organizer, my coordinators, and other executive bodies in my constituency here, because they are giving me the strength apart from what God has given me. So I would like them to just stand up and I will say thank you to them. Thank you. I have Kumasi, ladies and gents. They are nurses, doctors, and teachers. They are executive bodies. They are also here. They came all the way from Kumasi to also support me. Let me see you by your hand. Thank you very much. And almost everyone that is here, my Opoku are schoolmates and others, I am very grateful. I'm not supposed to do this, but at least forgive me, I have to do it. Everybody has really been very supportive in my life through God. And I think I always say this: Sankamenshia will be Nancy and Kenya. Honorable Abujanapo, God bless you. In fact, he's been my brother from Care University, and then there are people when they get positions, they forget about those they started with. He's been supporting me. He's traveling, but he's been here. Minister, God bless you. Mavis and Lydia and the two leaders, everybody, thank you so much. And those who travel from Switzerland, Pakistan, other places, the commissions, the students, God bless all of you. I think I'll go straight to what I'm supposed to do. Actually, it's twofold, but I'll do it quick because of time factor. I'm supposed to actually speak on optimal pricing model for risky assets in a competitive market. Actually, basically for the developing economies. And this was my PhD work. And my PhD work I had two supervisors. They are wonderful. They are very straight but wonderful. Professor Adibanji and then Professor Krapra. They helped me. But my work was examined by them and then other professors and academicians from Canada and Pakistan. The Pakistan assistant professor is here. Lubna, can they see you? Because I did an improved formula, a new formula that we can use as a country to price risky assets, because I had a problem that I could discover. So it was very necessary that I do that improved formula. Actually, I'll go fast. I'll summarize it. The first formula was done by Sharp in 1964, and that is capital asset pricing model. The second one was by Ross, arbitrage pricing theory. And the third one was by Hanan and Lian, that was 1993. And then the one that came before my improved version was 2015 by Deming. And these are used in any properly established economic jurisdiction, and it's really helping them. But you all know that the higher the risk, the higher expected returns. If I give my money, I invest my money within any private sector portfolio, say EcoBank, NIB, or any other bank you can talk of, and I invest my money in you sitting here, maybe Kwaku and Amoah Limited. Kwaku and Amoah Limited are classified as more risky or riskier than the banks. And for that matter, as general principles of risk and return in investment, Kwaku and Amoah company is supposed to give me more returns than EcoBank. The same way, if I invest my money with Ghana government or in Ghana government security, i.e. government bonds and treasury bills and co, they are supposed to give me less returns than the banks, because the government securities, if indeed we are in well-organized, established economic jurisdiction, are classified as risk-free. So even all the models and the formulas are mentioned all over the world. If I put my money in any private institution, the monies I'm supposed to get as returns or rates are made up of two things. One, the treasury bill rate in that country, if it is 2%, plus a premium to compensate for the risk I took. But Ghana here, many a time, not only one government, treasury bills are giving returns far more than even the private sector, which is risky. So it is contradicting the basic principles when it comes to investment. And it has really contributed to most of the everyday fundamentals and the problems we talk about. And because of that, most of the banks prefer investing in government securities between 57 to about 70%. And what it means is that the private sector that actually defines value chains to employ you, most of the young people cannot, because they have problem with getting adequate funds to expand and grow their businesses. Two, if investors or even banks or whatever will forgo the risk-free asset by the government and give their monies to you, the interest rate will always be extremely high. And that is why Ghana, we've been characterized with or by double-digit interest rate economy. There was a time it went as far as 52%. It came to almost 40. It came very much down. Now it's going up. Treasury bills in Ghana today is about 24% maximum, minimum about 22. Treasury bills in any well-developed economy is averagely 1%, 1.5. So, sorry I didn't address the chairman, forgive me. Ladies and gentlemen, all that I'm trying to say is that the everyday problems, the fundamentals we mentioned, i.e. the cost of doing business in Ghana is so high. Unemployment rate is so high. Exchange rate, we are always dying. We are an import-driven economy, which has become a national chorus. We import almost everything. These are the fact that the fundamentals that are going wrong need to be corrected. We make mention of them. We talk about them. So for how long are we ready to live with them? So all our lives in perpetuity, we want to live with these problems that are solvable. And that actually motivated me, in addition to our foreign examiners of my work, who said, your work is very good, fantastic. But how can you push this so that it could be accepted in your jurisdiction and be used? Because I want to really dream. I haven't dreamed, but I want to dream. Not just a dream as a vision, but I want to sleep and dream. And in my dream, Ghana, we have a single-digit interest rate economy. Ghana, no one should finish school after 4, 2, 3 years and he's home. Ghana, our city will be as strong as Mike Tyson. Ghana will live here and not travel anywhere. And our industries will perform their benchmarks. This is what I mean. And all these things are not difficult to attain. So before we can, we need to, for once, stop the politics, come together as stakeholders, and solve problems and support good models and formulas, and techniques and theories, and exercises that will let us get there. Because we can't continue to live in this jeopardized society of ours. It is extremely important. So I went through these formulas. I'll go through quickly because now I'm sure you have the picture what I'm doing so that I can finish quick. Oh, sorry. Forgive me. Because I want to go fast, I want to move all of them. Okay. If you look at this, I have tried to list some of the fundamentals that we think they have to be right. This thing is not really working well. Can somebody help me? Okay, I'll speak even without them. Okay, sure. I just want you to have a feel, especially the research and students and then the institutional stakeholders. Hey, what's happening? Thank you. I'm sure because of time. Wow. So you saw all those things, I think, technically, but we have the soft copy we can send to you all. I listed almost all the fundamentals. Things that we have been debating and arguing almost every day, every year. And it doesn't matter whose regime, we talk about them. But the question is, for about 40 years, what have we been doing? I'm not saying we are not doing anything. We are doing well, we are improving. But the fact is, are we there? Are we really economically independent? Are we sure? Do we know, since the inception or commencement of JHS, SHS up to now, some got dropped out. They dropped out JHS, SHS, even university levels. How many are they? Do we know them? Do we have the number? If that data is not there, how can we fashion out any feasible employment policy framework? We have all of them. How many of you can do your business when interest rates are always double digits? It is an extremely difficult situation. So what you realize is that this is very simple. And I try to explain that the higher the rate, the higher expected returns in the investment principle of risk and return is being undermined continuously. Because if you look at the figures, this is the figures. I didn't want to name the banks. I tried to be a bit ethical. But in my work, I listed the banks. You see 3 months, 6 months. The last one is the treasury bill. That is government asset or security. It means if you put your money in government security today, or assets, or portfolio, if you invest with the government, you are getting more returns than even the banks. So let me ask you, if you were a bank, will you give your money to the private sector that has to create the needed value chains, expand, grow, employ, produce everything that we need in Ghana so we stop importing to sour our exchange rate or weaken our currency? You will not. So you realize that these are fundamentals that we all have to make sure that we work on as a country. And this is what I did, I think, for a period of about 10 years. This is not the start, I think up to 2018. The blue line represent T-bills. And then the others are the banks that I had my data from. So what I'm talking about is not today. For so many years, just probably 1% a whole period, it normalizes, then it goes back. And if even the T-bills changes, there's a lack. I don't want to do the technical aspect to talk about ALD. My bosses are here and talk about those augmented Kifula tests and all those. They are not important here. But what I want you to know is that even now, the T-bills are around 24. I went to the banks. The banks are still around 11.9 because it will take about 3 months for them to move there. And that's the problem we have. And this problem has to be resolved. Because no matter the explanations I'm getting from my bankers, my friends and bosses, which they are right, we still have to solve the problem. Because banks are quite profit-making institutions. They want to make profit, yes. Private sector in Ghana probably might not have positioned themselves in a way that they will be very attractive, yes. I agree. But does it mean that it is not a challenge? It is not a problem. Does it mean that we don't have to solve them? Do we have to be what we are? No. There should be solution to it. So if you go through it, this thing is really causing me. I just spoke about the effect of this anomaly where government is borrowing at a higher rate on our market. You get double-digit interest rate, T-bills mostly having inadequate funds, extremely high costs. I've spoken about all these things, import-driven economy. That's the result. Because it is quite cyclical. It works. Once the companies are underperforming their benchmark when it comes to producing what we need in Ghana, we are compelled to import. Once you are compelled to import, there's obligation to go for foreign currency. And once that has been a ritual exercise, our city can never be strong. There's nowhere in the world that short-term approach to solving currency issues has worked sustainably. Nowhere. Almost everyone here in this room is wearing something we imported. It's MPP NDC, we use it for politics that probably has given rise to all these much controversy among us, or among stakeholders. But the fact is, this problem has been chronic, or has been chronicle, that we need to work on. I wanted to move on quick to show things, but this thing, I don't know who fixed it or brought it.